Hi, CY. It's Anne back again. And for those who were really paying attention yesterday, you caught a mistake. 2 points to you if you figured out that Moses didn't lead the Israelites into the promised land, that he only got them just to the border, and it was Joshua who actually brought them into the promised land. So good for you if you caught that. But today I want to talk about another incredible woman from the Old Testament. Her name is Esther, and there's a whole book of the Bible devoted to her story, and it's pretty epic. She's just amazing. Here's what happened. So the king of Persia had a wife, and he was having this huge banquet that lasted several days, and he commanded her to do something, and she didn't want to. And he talked to all his advisors, and they decided that was reason enough that she wouldn't obey him as the king to oust her from the marriage. And so what started next was The Bachelor on steroids. All the young girls from Persia were paraded in front of the king, but not before they'd had days and days of cosmetic treatments to make them look their best. One of those young girls, young women, was Esther. And her her cousin, Mordecai, who had raised her because she was an orphan, he was one of the king's officials, and he was keeping an eye on her, and he warned her before she went in to see the king, don't tell him that you're a Jew. The king is not a Jew. He won't look kindly on you because of that, so don't let him know. Well, Esther's chosen as the new queen, and so she goes to live in the palace with the king. But some pretty shady things start happening, and one of the king's senior officials named Haman gets promoted, and he expected all the people to bow to him, certainly the courtiers and servants like Mordecai. And Mordecai, because he loved God and knew God's rules and laws of not bowing down to anyone but God, refused to do it. So Haman decided, when he found out that the reason why was because Mordecai was a Jew, he decided he would cook up a plan to get rid of the whole Jewish race within Persia. And so he convinced the king that this was a good idea. Now Esther was hearing what was going on. She was talking to Mordecai, and she was put in a very difficult position because she loved God and she loved her people with all her heart. And she decided she would do what she could to save them because she had the power. So she put on some elaborate feasts. She got the king to agree to have Haman come to a dinner, and she said how upset she was that the king's law was going to force all of her people to be killed. It would be a genocide. The king realized this shouldn't happen. And because Esther was brave enough and showed her courage and her heart, her people were saved. You can read, as I said, the whole story in the Old Testament. There's a lot more detail. But you need to know just how incredible it was that she did this as a young woman in those times. She saved her people. And so when we think about our heart and how God might want to use it, Esther is an amazing person to think of. So I challenge you to read the book of Esther and learn about how your heart can do incredible things for God.